Man, that takes it right off. There you go. Take that one to the bank. It works really well. Okay, front end's covered. So now we scored it. We can actually just rip it off right where we cut it. Sometimes when you're working at home, you gotta get creative. I thought about putting a real condom on here. I didn't know if I'd offend anyone. So here's plan B. A glove. Hi, welcome back to Fast Monty's Garage. If this is your first time here, we're painting the engine block today. If you missed it, the way we got here, I sheared a lifter, had to take the engine out of the car, take it apart, and I ended up deciding to paint the aluminum heads, which were bare aluminum, and they came out great. Here's the picture. That was the last episode I did, is how to paint those, and they came out so good, we gotta now match the paint because the paint came out so much better. So what we're gonna do today is exactly that. We're gonna prep the block for paint, prime it, and paint it. And here's what you're gonna need. Depending on how greasy, dirty, grimy your engine is, you're gonna need some serious degreaser to start. I'm gonna skip that step and just go to brake cleaner because this is not super greasy. And then you're gonna wanna go and get yourself some really nice wax and grease remover. This is used for auto body paint, and it works extremely well. I put it in a pressurized can and I can spray it on, and I spray it on liberally, and I use my toothbrush. I be sure to brush after eating and then work on the car. Other things you're gonna need is masking tape. So I have 3/4 inch and 1.5 inch, a fresh razor blade. Also handy is having your gasket set ready. So this is my new gasket set. I'll show you why. Rubber gloves, respirator for painting. This is like 20 bucks at Summit Racing. I use it 20 times, throw it away, buy a new one. I should probably only use it 5 times actually. That's probably why I forget what I'm doing all the time. Oh well. Paper towels. Here's one of the most important things, besides being clean, is primer. High temp enamel primer. Then you can get some good paint. This is really good paint from Inline Tube. I think they're the manufacturer, but this is one of their products. They make the correct color for your engine. Check it out. They have Ford, GM, Mopar, every color you can imagine for every engine color needed, from like the 50s all the way up through the 90s. So maybe even newer. I don't know. I didn't check that far. But this came out great, as you saw from that picture, and you can check out the last episode I did when we painted the heads. Came out spectacular. So that's awesome. Last thing you're going to need is this guy up here. It's called Easy Sheet. I use it for masking, but I also use it for paint booths. So since I can't wheel this thing in my backyard very easily, I'm going to set up a little temporary paint booth using that. It works really good. So again, if it's your first time here and you want to see future episodes, be sure to subscribe. Click the little bell so you get emailed when I put out a new video, because you're going to want to see me put this back together, put it back in the car, and get it rolling again, because it's fun to drive and I miss it. That being said, let's get to it. Hey guys, so I wanted to show you something. I made a comment about using primer. I don't think primer was used when someone painted the block. I didn't paint the block. The machinist who did my machining painted it for me. But check this out. This is just with my fingernail. See how more comes off there? That when it was painted black, they used primer, because I can't get the black off, but I can get the blue off. So that's the importance of primer. So if you have paint flaking off of your engine parts, that means it wasn't cleaned or primed correctly. So it could be a little bit of both in this case. All right, team. I am going to start cleaning, and I'm just going to do a little portion to show you exactly what I'm doing. There, so I have brake cleaner, and I spray it on, and then wipe it off. And you can see if you do enough of it, you notice how the paint just starts coming off. I've been doing this for about, I don't know, 15 minutes, just spraying and then wiping like this. And then I was using my toothbrush, which started to work pretty good. And then it dawned on me, I probably should upgrade my toothbrush. So I got that bad boy. This is a stainless steel brush. I actually use it for welding. You clean your welds out before welding. And by the way, we will be doing some welding on this project. But for painting, I decided to grab one of them. And check this out. Man, that takes it right off. Woo! So, there's my new technique. And that's ironically how I find some of these techniques, just by experimentation. So, there you go. Take that one to the bank. It works really well. Alright team, so this took about 20 minutes of work with the new method of brake cleaner and a wire brush. And so happy I thought of it, because it worked out really, really good. I even had a point where I rotated the engine so these were horizontal and there was just a pool of brake cleaner, and I was scrubbing around. It took everything off. It was awesome. So now I'm going to go ahead and start getting ready to show you how to mask. Let's get to masking. Now, there are several different approaches. Nothing is really wrong. Now, I'm going to show you what I like to do. Those of you that saw how I did the heads and how I laid tape down, like used a gasket, that's what we're going to do. What I have seen done in the past is you can put your timing chain cover. You can attach your timing chain cover and paint, and that will mask, right? And you can paint this at the same time. I don't particularly like that method because you can't get everywhere with your spray paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark some areas on the block here just to show you guys how it would come out. So I have some guidelines. Doesn't matter if you can see it well or not. They're right here. I already cleaned the area with my wax and grease remover that I showed you guys, my magic potion, because we want tape to stick. And a good method to test is you just take a piece of tape and see if it's going to stick appropriately. Okay, so the plan is to cover this whole area with tape because I'm going to lay my gasket over it. Okay, now I have my gasket lined up. I'm just going to trace around it with my fine Sharpie. And then I can take the green tape off. And now you just take your razor blade and trace that line. You can use an X-Acto knife as well. Did you guys just catch that? I pulled off the wrong side. Too many paint fumes. Let's see how well we did. I'm gonna go ahead and mark. All right, that's good. So you guys probably saw me put the timing cover back up, just to make sure there's no tape exposed. And now I'm just gonna cover this whole area with tape. So tape to tape, because this is still kind of greasy. Tape won't stick to it. Okay, front end's covered. Okay, I'm going to do the similar thing for the top of the head. I degreased this whole outside surface along there, and I'm just going to put tape. I'm going to tape it all the way across. I can make a little crease. I can see where the edge of the metal is. And then I'll take my knife and I'll go right along that edge and cut it all off. All right, guys. So if I don't know if you can see, I left a little edge on there, which is fine. If you're not comfortable with a big edge, you can add some more tape. But what's going to happen is we're going to paint, and before the paint's totally dry, we're going to unmask, and then we're going to take a razor blade and scrape that off that surface. So we'll have paint all the way to the edge, and then scrape off this flat plane, so we have a good surface for our head gasket. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the whole thing, both sides, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to cover this whole area in one step. Alright guys, for my next trick, I'm going to show you what back taping is all about. Now if you've seen the head painting video, you know what this is. If you haven't, this is called back taping. So our plan of attack is to actually put green tape on top of the blue tape, but I'm going to fold it over like this, because that gives us a sticky side to work with when we apply our easy sheet. Remember our easy sheet? We're actually going to put a whole big piece of easy sheet over the top of this. Really easy way to clean it up. So I'm going to go ahead and do the whole on the blue tape, and I'll be right back. I was actually able to do the whole blue tape with one piece of green tape. Nice. Alright, so this is our easy sheet. It's super thin. I'm going to put it right on the tape. And I'm going to drape it over the tighter you can make it, the better. Alright, now that I have it laid down, this is where your brand new blade comes into play. So, for example, I'll start here, and I'm just going to gently score the plastic without cutting through the tape on the green tape. So now we scored it. We can actually just rip it off right where we cut it. And that gives us an awesome edge. Now we have the blue tape underneath, which is fine, but as you notice when I did the heads, this was actually our tape line. So this is another great way to mask. So I'm going to go ahead and do the whole thing. Alright guys, so that's how you use Easy Sheet. So awesome to mask with. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the block over, do the same thing for the oil pan side and the rear of the engine, and do a couple other things like the distributor hole with tape, and we'll be ready to do a little paint booth. And I'll show you how to do that. Super cheap to do, and we'll go from there. See you in a minute. Alright team, so to tackle this, we're going to do a similar approach that we did with the timing cover. I'm going to put the gasket down, but I'm pretty sure it covers most of the whole flange, and there's going to be some bare spots. So I'm just going to mark the bare spots. So here's a brand new reusable gasket from BOP Engineering. It stands for Buick Olds Pontiac, if you didn't know that. They make some incredible stuff that can only be found with them. So I'm going to show you another trick, which combines what we learned on the top side. Okay, so the green points I'm going to take off to paint, but that's just marking where I need to come up to the line for back taping. So a better view of what I'm doing here for back taping. Since I don't want to paint this entire top surface, but I want paint to come up to that edge, I'm going to take my green tape and I'm going to fold it over right on the edge. So notice I can take that piece of tape off just like that. So I know this doesn't have to be exact. This is great because the paint will still get into that little seam, so you're not going to have an area where the paint's going to want to peel back. Okay, now that we have our tape all ready, we have our Magic Easy Sheet again, and we're going to drape it all over the tape. Starting from the back edge, working our way around. Alright team, in case you're wondering about the back of the motor, I actually back taped the whole thing all the way around, and I'm taking my Magic Easy Sheet, I'm starting in the bottom middle, and I'm just putting it right on the edge of the tape, and I'm going to go all the way around. And the beauty of this is that I don't have to cut anything. Pretty easy. Hey guys, so sometimes when you're working at home, you gotta get creative. So I thought about putting a real condom on here. I didn't know if I'd offend anyone. So here's plan B. A glove. That'll work. Hey guys, thought this would be a good natural break in the video. We don't want it to go too long. I don't want too many complaints. So I hope you learned a lot about how to clean your block and how to mask your block and the different techniques we did and get it ready for paint. So in part 7B, which stands for booth, we're going to put a paint booth up. It'll be super low cost. I think you're going to love it. And we'll then put primer and color down. And obviously painting color on anything is always exciting because we're moving along the process. So subscribe if you haven't, so you can watch me make a fool of myself putting my engine back together, put the engine back in the car because I want to drive it. I'm dying. So that said, you know the drill. Build them fast, but drive them faster.